Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Thursday, July 18th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. And also, if you trade Bitcoin, I will do a bonus analysis at the end. First off, a couple things. Number one, if you would like for me to do an analysis on one of your positions, go ahead, comment down below, and I will do my best to get to that in a future video. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame. So when you see that 30 right there, what that means is that each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. And then also, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That's because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. So stock number one here, ticker symbol NVDA. I'm sure you've heard of it before. And yes, very rough day, so certainly some updates need to be done. First update, just based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So this level was a support going into today, but just got absolutely destroyed. So much so that I'm going to actually adjust this level down to what I would consider more so a near-term area of resistance, and that's right there at $120. Now, if the price can push up through there, the other level you're going to want to watch from a resistance standpoint is right up there, that purple line, the 50-period moving average, keyword being moving. So as time goes by, that line is going to move itself lower and lower and get more and more relevant, and that'll be another key level to watch. I get it right now. It's very irrelevant given the price is down here and that level's up there, but once more, a moving average, so that will move down and get more and more relevant. In terms of areas of support, nothing complicated here. Let me change that to green for support. Just a question of where did the bleeding finally stop today? And it finally stopped down there at 116.70, so that'll be the main area of support headed into Thursday. But yeah, no doubt about it. Rough day today. We'll see if the price can try to curl back upwards or not. Next one, ticker symbol APVO. Nice pattern here has formed, so let's get this drawn into play. So top part of the pattern right here, this area of resistance. Then we have this area of support. So again, let me change that to green to represent support. And then maybe make the pattern easier to see. Let's keep it all the same color here. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the huge explosion right there. And if you golfers try to make it a little bit more visual, put the golf hole down here, and this would be a bull pennant pattern. So while nothing is guaranteed, it's more than plausible and valid, even if you just want to call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, that if the price were to come up here and break through that level, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure. So if you like penny stocks, if you like bull pennant patterns, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one, SQQQ, very big mover today, got a huge gap up and grinded. And then as I speak right now, price has actually gone into a little bit of a consolidation mode with it going sideways. So yeah, sideways is not nearly as exciting as the price going up like it was during the first part of the day. But also, to be fair, nothing can go straight up, and sideways price action can be perfectly healthy, which seems to be the case here. So in terms of levels of resistance headed into Thursday, nothing fancy here. Where did the price start to struggle? And you can see basically the top part of this channel was right up there around $8.11. So $8.11 will be that first key battleground to watch. And then to offer up more context, you can see been a long time since the price has been up this high. But if the price can break up through $8.11, next key level up there right around $8.22. So maybe to simplify things, if you just wanted to call this right here a resistance zone, just wanted to call this a resistance zone right there, that would be, I don't think anybody would put up much of a fight and argument against that. In terms of levels of support, if there are any sort of pullbacks, key initial level to watch is going to be that pink line right there, 200-period moving average. You can see just a classic example right there of the price pulling back and bouncing beautifully off it. So if there is some sort of bigger pullback, then really as long as the price stays above that pink line, there's nothing to worry about at all, which just illustrates how big of a move it was today. But yeah, all things considered, big amount of momentum behind this one. Does this momentum carry into Thursday? I think a lot of people will be watching for sure. Next one, MAXN, and all things considered, this thing is hanging in there, but there's definitely some very well-defined levels being put into play here, especially from the resistance side of things, and that key level being right here at the 0.268 mark. So 0.268, going through the history of things, you can see that right there, rejected the price a couple times there, rejected the price right there, didn't quite hit it. So I realized that the price didn't always hit it exactly, a couple times slightly below, a couple times slightly above, but just trying to split the difference there. 0.268 is very clearly where the the sellers are hanging out. But on the flip side of things, you look down here and you have the bulls also making progress. In what way? Well, check out the nice, beautiful uptrend that has been being built. So in all actuality, what we have here is an ascending triangle pattern, which is bullish. But let me be very clear, just because something's bullish does not mean for sure the price is going up, if only it were that easy. But nonetheless, you do have an overall ascending triangle pattern. Can the price get up to that level and finally get a break up through it? We'll see what happens. Next one, TSLA Tesla. And overall, this thing has struggled with that resistance line as has been expected. You can see right there, came up, got rejected, and then this morning right there, got rejected. So if there is any sort of attempt to move back upwards, in my mind, it's still all about that resistance trend line right there. So continue to watch that as the days follow. I'm going to go ahead and adjust this level down as support, because definitely have a level that you got to think all sorts of people are going to be watching and caring about. And that's right there at about 245.75. I mean, just looking at the history of this thing, you can see back here, support, and then today, didn't hit exactly, but very close, support, bounce, and then even late day today, once again, got around that area and once again held strong. So 245.75, definitely going to be a level. And even the shorts are going to be watching that, because rightfully so, they're thinking, well, if the price comes down here and actually breaks, I could see that causing a whole lot of momentum. So they are absolutely correct. On the flip side, you're going to have long saying, well, I mean, it's bounced off that level many times before, so if it comes down there, I think it could get a bounce in the upwards direction. Again, those people are correct, but that's why risk management matters, because somebody's going to be right, somebody's going to be wrong. But the moral of the story here is you got to think a lot of people are going to be watching that 245.75 mark. Real quick, I wanted to pause and invite you to get signed up for this free class that I'm offering. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool and how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then go to the link down below. If you're watching on YouTube, it's in the description box, or if you're watching right at my website, it's there on the webpage. But go to the page, click that yellow button, submit your email, and then you will gain instant access to this free class. So go get signed up and watch it at your convenience. Next one, MARA. I've been tracking this one quite a bit, and finally this thing acted human today with a bit of a pullback. But all things considered, I'm going to go ahead and adjust this level down now that we have the bottom of that pullback area right there around 24.15. But like I said, everything considered. Now, I should also note, I understand if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 7 minutes, well then yes, from that standpoint, the chart looks absolutely terrible. But assuming you care about the bigger picture point of view, even with the pullback and even with it essentially going to that green line right there, so you have that set of lows, you have that set of lows, you have these lows, and if you envision each of those as stair steps, then you still very clearly have stair steps progressing in the upwards direction. So again, I'm well aware that if you're some sort of day trader that bought right there, you don't care about these stair steps. But that's why I'm trying to distinguish between somebody that cares about the bigger picture versus somebody that cares about more so a narrow term point of view. So overall, though, things are perfectly fine, even with the pullback. Price is still above, again, 24.15, still above the purple line there, 50 period moving average, and that's what you want to see. And then overall, the level of resistance still holds true. Yes, it was a fake break this morning. Price acted like it wanted to break out there, and then, a nasty move. So for those of you that like to play breakouts, yeah, that just happens sometimes. It was truly a nasty move, and back down it went. But moving forward, right around 26.70 remains that key area of resistance. But like I said, assuming you care about the big picture point of view, the chart is still perfectly fine. Next, SOFI, and as far as uptrends are concerned, if I were putting together a textbook and needing an example that I could throw in there in terms of uptrends, this would be a great example of that, as this thing continues to put in higher highs and higher lows. So I'm going to zoom back in here, though, because we do have an interesting dynamic that I'm very curious about as we head into Thursday, and that is the question of, is this some sort of double top that's forming right up there at $7.90? You have rejection number one, and then last 30 minutes, basically rejection number two, which does not guarantee anything, but it does, at least for me, throw out the question of, okay, is this some sort of double top? Does this thing need to roll over and pull back some? Now, keyword being pullback. I'm not saying that it's a reversal. Now, a pullback can turn into a reversal, but don't conflate the terms pullback and reversal, because they are two very different things. So right now, my question is not, is this thing going to full-blown reverse? No, but just, is there going to need to be some sort of pullback down to that secondary area of support? What is that secondary area of support? Well, that's a good question. Thanks for asking. In my mind, it's down here right around this $7.60 mark, just going through the history of things. You can see did a good job as a congestion point there, bounce point from this morning, bounce point from this afternoon. So 760 seems to be a key level. But who knows? Maybe this double top is not going to be, and this thing's getting ready to just blast up through those areas of resistance. And if you're somebody that's bullish, I'm sure you're not going to complain about that at all. But nonetheless, it is still an interesting potential double top here. Next one, FCEL, and price is now nearing a very, very important level, and a level that I would definitely call a must hold, which sits down here at 0.624. And the reason why that is important, and I'm not saying this will occur, but as you can see, this level has done a good job of holding strong. But if the price were to come down to this area and then break down below it, what would you have at that point in time? You would quite literally have the price having gone right back to where it was in this area right there. And I mean, not to insult your intelligence, but price movements that make great moves and then all of a sudden go right back to where they were, not exactly a sign of genuine or true power. Again, I'm not saying that's what's going to occur, just trying to explain why this level right there is what I would call a must-hold area of support. If the price does try to bounce, then the initial area of resistance it's got to get above is that pink line there, 200 period moving average, and then after that, the purple line, the 50 period moving average. But in my opinion, at least, by far the biggest priority right now is making sure that the price stays above that key level of support. Next one, ticker symbol SHIM, and very, very nice pattern here. And you got to think a lot of people have noticed this pattern. I make that comment because when a lot of people are watching the same pattern, wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movements. So we have a nice, well-defined area of resistance there. We have a nice, well-defined area of support down there. And then just to hopefully make it easier to see, let's once again keep it the same color. So resistance, support, explosion up, golf hole down here. We have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. I know I talked about that in a previous one, so I won't belabor the point. But all I'll say is if you like stocks down below $5, you like bull pennant patterns, then definitely keep an eye on it. Next, TQQQ, and an absolute bloodbath on this one today. So much so that I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of all these lines up here. Sure, they still pertain, but because today was down so much, those levels are no longer really relevant. And I just don't want to risk causing confusion because there's lines and clutter everywhere. So let's try to keep this as clean as possible. But initial area of resistance, if there is going to be any sort of bounce back in the upwards direction, will be right here at essentially the top part of this sideways movement right there, right around that $76 mark. So yes, there's a little bit of a smaller channel in here to keep an eye on. You know, a pretty tight range. But even if the price were to break to the upside of that range, like I said, I want to get too excited about it because not that far away, you do have that $76 mark. So keep an eye on that. And then from more of an overarching standpoint, which is kind of irrelevant right now given it is so far away. But even if the price breaks above 76, definitely got to keep your eye now on that pink line there, 200 period moving average. Like I said, that's more of an overarching level that I guess it could come into play on Thursday, but I'd be shocked if it does. And then in terms of areas of support, just to give more context here, you can see been a long time since the price has been down this low on the chart. So first key area to watch from a support standpoint is going to be right here at $74.15. And then if that level cannot hold up, I think it becomes a very real possibility that the price could very realistically be headed down there to $72 and right around 50 cents, give or take a little bit. But yeah, no doubt about it. Rough day today. As I speak, check out the last 30 minutes here. That red candle looking like it might close at the lows of the day. So yeah, the bears definitely got the victory. I will get to Bitcoin here in just a second, but for you stock traders, again, I want to invite you, go get signed up for this free class. Like I said, use the link down below if you're watching on YouTube, or just click on the area on the website itself. Hit that yellow button, submit your email, and then you will gain instant access to this free class. And like I said, if you enjoyed what you saw here and you want to learn more, then I'm confident you'll get a lot of value from the free class that you can watch at your convenience. All right, now let's talk some Bitcoin. One quick clarification here. We are now on the 4-hour time frame, which you can see up there, and that is because Bitcoin is open 24/7. So each one of these candlesticks represents 4 hours, and I just like to do that because it's open 24/7. That'll keep this video relevant for as long as possible. But finally, Bitcoin has decided to pull back a little bit, but a very healthy pullback. I mean, it's pulled back here, and then if you factor in that little movement right there, essentially what you have here is a little miniature bull flag pattern. So when I say pullback, like I mentioned earlier, don't conflate the two, that it's not the same as reversal. But again, let's just assume that you're watching this 15, 20 hours from now. Question number one becomes, where's the price at relative to 66,000? If you're answering the question that the price is above 66,000, that means that this bull flag pattern has gotten a break to the upside And not only a break to the upside, it's gotten good continuation to be able to get up to 66,000 and then above it. So in other words, any sort of answering the question that the price is above 66,000, that's telling you you're looking at a very bullish situation as far as Bitcoin is concerned. Now, if you're saying, well, actually, Clay, the price is still down below 66,000, by no means the end of the world. Next immediate question will be, okay, well, where's the price at relative to that pink line right there? And as long as you're answering the question that the price is above there, still, that is perfectly fine, because in all actuality, you could get a bigger pullback, something like this, and you'd still have an overall bull flag pattern, which just illustrates how strong Bitcoin has been. So all things considered, now really the only way that I would say to be worried is if somehow you're answering the question that the price is all of a sudden down below that purple line, down below the purple line right there. I highly doubt you're answering it that way. But as long as the price is above there, then everything is fine. And then, of course, if the price is up above 66,000, that's just telling you that Bitcoin has recovered from this pullback and has resumed the uptrend. And as I invited the stock traders, I'm inviting you as a Bitcoin and crypto trader, go get signed up and watch this class, because what you're learning about can and definitely should be used within the world of crypto and Bitcoin. So use that link, click on the yellow button, submit your email, and then you can gain instant access and watch the class on demand whenever is best for your schedule. So as far as the top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, hit that like button. Like I said, leave a comment below, even if you have a request, and I can try to do that in a future video. And go get signed up and start to watch that free class. So thanks for watching. Have a good one.